Hey guys, Opalescent Raven here. I thought I would talk a little bit about my most recent piece, Moon, that I was working on because I did a few things a little different than I would normally do here, and I don't know, I really like this piece, so I thought I'd talk a bit about it this time. So I started with my shadows like I always do on my skin tones. I really like to do skin first when I know kind of what color sets I'm going for. And this time I actually started with a purple instead of like one of my regular skin tone colors, and that's because I've been watching a lot of people who do watercolors and other like artists that I really look up to coloring wise, or even just skill wise in general. And I've noticed a lot of them have talked about how you don't always use the colors you expect to, especially for things like skin. And I know purple is a big one because it kind of helps neutralize how pink some of the skin tones can be. And so I thought I would give it a try with this piece. I ended up really liking it. I used a darker purple than I thought I was originally, and you'll see after I put down all my skin tone I go back in with a even lighter purple to try and blend it out a bit more. But it really does add a different layer to his skin than what I was expecting. And then again at the very end, because the skin tone that I used for like his like main skin tone is so pale that I always have to go back in and really like layer it up, because I find that it's too stark a difference between that and like the first shade. So you can kind of see, or you could, that I did a thumbnail sketch for the colors on this piece. I knew what his eyes were supposed to be, and I knew what his hair was supposed to be, and his skin, and that was it. He's a new character created through like a sort of a random generator that was created for this world that I'm building with my fiance. He's became the moon god out of the description that we ended up getting. But I had a lot of fun picking his colors because he's so serene, and hopefully very moon-like when I'm done with this piece. Again, it's not everything, it's not the whole piece, because I don't have enough space on my memory card. I just don't have the space on it. So I have to buy a new one at some point that has a little bit more space, and this piece is 4 times the size of what I normally work on. So I really underestimated how long it was going to take me, even though I had most of my colors pre-picked. So like I did with the skin, where I used a purple instead of like a really dark skin tone when I decided I was doing his hair super platinum blonde, I used a blue for the darkest shadow, and then I went in with like almost like a greeny beige, and then I go in with an ivory at the very end. I tested it on the top of his head to make sure I really liked it. Not that I could change it once it's down, but I thought I would test it that way. I was excited to see what the color combination would look like, because these are all 3 colors are pro markers, which are not markers I normally use. I usually use Prismas or Copics. Prismas I have the most of, and my Copics are slowly growing, and I really love my Copics, but actually I found that I really liked the pro markers, or at least I like the colors of the pro markers. Some of them are super rich when they've dried and stuff like that. They don't blend as nicely as some of my Prismas do, or not my Prismas, well, or my Copics even. Like both markers I find blend a little better than the pros do, but it's not so bad when the colors are really close, and I try to put like a Prisma or a Copic on top, because sometimes that can help blend the edges a little more than what they already do. This character's hair is super big, and I'm still not used to drawing curls. Yeah, see, I was comparing the size for someone there. I was live streaming while working on this. I was comparing the size compared to what I normally work with. You can see it's quite a bit bigger. Although his features are about the same size, it's a real challenge for me to try and fill up far more space. I don't normally do very large illustration pieces, although I am attempting to push myself on that front. But I was saying about his curls, I find curly hair really difficult to draw if it's not ringlets. Or really dark, so I can just kind of color in the shape of it and add shine instead of filling in all of these spaces. So sometimes it feels like his hair comes across a little more wavy, but I really like how big it is. Like, it kind of looks like he's a rock star or something from the 80s with how big those curls are. Even with his shaved sides, it looks like an unrealistic amount of hair, but that's okay. He's a god. He can have as much hair as he wants, right? I also kind of see it as Skipper or Barbie hair, which sounds funny, I'm sure. I have a really large container of markers, and sometimes when there's really long pauses like that, it's just because I'm digging through my marker containers to make sure that there's enough, or my cats, I have 3 of them, have decided to act up and throw their own little party while I'm busy. I'm trying really hard these days to be more positive about my art than I used to be. I know I can be really negative. Sometimes I can judge myself really harshly versus the way that I judge other people. And that's a really common theme. It's really natural for people to kind of see more flaws in their own work than other people's, because we know what we wanted the end result to be. But I'm trying really hard to be more positive about it, because, like, if I look back even a year and a half ago, I probably wouldn't have attempted a piece this big. And if I did, I definitely would have done a far more simplified style for him, at least for his body. I know the background's pretty simplified, and, you know, he's still he's a cartoon style, but I would have really changed it so that he was like skinny and slender and looked like he was out of something like, I think, Adventure Time or something like that. So I'm trying to be really positive about my art now so that I'm not putting myself down. It could also be the change of the seasons. It's turning into spring now. Weather's starting to get better, and that can always help for me, at least. I didn't get much after his hair. I think I got some of his clothes before my camera decided it was out of space. But I will still put the final project at the end. It was a really big piece. He was in the night sky on some trees. This is the color of his eyes here. He's got really, really bright blue eyes. But I was really happy with the final piece, and so I hope you guys also enjoyed it. If anybody has questions or specific things I do in my art that you'd like to see more of, or have me explain better or something like that, you guys should let me know, because I would love to give more pointers or to explain stuff a little more thoroughly. I'm self-trained, and I'm not necessarily the greatest artist or anything like that out there, but I really like sharing art with people. I think it's really satisfying and fun to reach out to other people who are also learning and discovering the world of art. I think the design of his undershirt is probably one of my favorite clothing designs I've done recently. There's something about it that just, even though it's so detailed and kind of infuriating with how painstaking it is to get done, I really just liked it. It's kind of not like a beetle, but wrappings, and then the sun deity's coat is very much like a beetle, same kind of geometric design. You can see I'm going through all my colors here to see what colors I want next. Each brand has different pages, so I know what color. If I see cashew on one specific page, well, I know that that's got to be Copic instead of cashew or something like that in Prisma. And there you go, you can see it all done. Again, thank you so much everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my process for this piece.